So I just want to thank you guys all for joining us today for the Residential Life mini session. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Emerson. I'm one of the assistant directors of admissions here at Ross. And we're super lucky this session to have the director of residential life, Anja Abney, as well as the assistant director of residential life, Courtney Corvasi, and two student representatives, Matt Maciejczyk and Laura Velez. And also a special guest who we're trying to figure out the sound for right now, a current parent, Alberto Manapa. He is the father of Essie, one of our 11th graders. So he can give a firsthand account of what it's like to be a parent of a Ross student as soon as we figure out the sound.
I have a call, so if he wants to say something, I can always hold it. Sometimes that works.
Perfect. Anja, do you mind just introducing yourself and saying a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Anja Abney. I am the director of residential life. So I run the boarding program at Ross. I am also the director of international student services. So I'm in charge of all of the visas and the I-20s and any kind of immigration questions that you or your parents may have. And I also run the summer term program, which is our academic program for students coming from other countries for the summer. I am originally from Germany, and I have been in this country for a very, very long time. But I can relate to what it's like to leave home, and I certainly can relate to what you will hear from your parents who don't want you to leave home. So, you know, all the things my mother has always told me, I would like to tell your parents. So I am here to make sure that you are comfortable, that you are happy. I am not a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher. I would not be any good at it, but I am here for support. I am here to talk to your parents, talk to you, you know, make sure that you guys are taken care of in any way possible. And that is really the main goal of my job.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Courtney, would you like to fill us in a little bit on your background?
Sure. My name is Courtney Corvasi. I am the assistant director of residential life. I basically help Anja run the department. I'm also a dorm parent, so I have some kids in my house with me, as Anja and Emerson both are as well.
All neighbors, actually.
Yeah, we're all neighbors.
We live on the same street, which is ironic. So yes, we are all neighbors. We are all dorm parents. So it works out that way.
Cool. Thank you, Courtney. And now for our two student guests. Laura, do you want to go first and just say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Laura. I'm a 9th grader. I am from Colombia. This was my first year at Ross. I know what it's like being the new student. I know what it's like leaving home. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Laura. And Matt, full disclosure, Matt is one of my dorm students. He lives with me. And so all answers are under punishment of being grounded. So go for it, Matt.
Yeah, best house parent ever. So yeah, hi, I'm Matt, 12th grader this year. So I'm gonna graduate this year. And it's my second year at Ross. So I had experience before Ross also with an international school, but I need to say like Ross is 100% better, way better than the school that I was last time. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It helped me really a lot. So the reason why I went to the US, it's first of all because of academics, second because of friends, but most importantly, I wanted to become more independent, and I also wanted to become more responsible. So I'm ready for the future, and Ross definitely helped me in this a lot. So yeah, that's kind of my introduction.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt.
We can't hear you.
Wait, Alberto is, yeah.
Can we hear Alberto? Oh, no. Oh.
Maybe you can unmute him. No.
Alberto's muted.
Our fifth guest, as I alluded to before, is Alberto, and he is the current parent of one of our Ross 11th graders. And I believe Anja's trying to get him on the phone here. But he's a great resource to speak about what it's like to send your kids away to Ross. And while Anja's doing that, Courtney, do you think that you might be able to explain a little bit about what makes residential life at Ross different than other boarding schools?
Sure, yeah. So most boarding schools have dormitories where usually in one or two buildings, all of the kids live, and there will be adults at each end of the hallway, basically overlooking everything. Ross is a little different. We actually rent houses all throughout the Hamptons. They're very nice houses. But yeah, it's different. It's more of a family feel. In the way that we all live together, and like Sunday nights we all do dinner together. We share a kitchen, we share common living areas. There's 2 house parents per house, and the house parents live with anywhere from 6 to 14 kids per house. There's usually 2 to 3 kids per bedroom, and they all will share their own bathroom. Each room has its own bathroom. Yeah, did I miss anything, Anya?
I don't know. I was trying to get the phone set up, but just most houses have a lot of outdoor space. So we have basketball courts, tennis courts, volleyball courts. We have pool tables in the basement. We have ping pong tables. So there's a lot of things, a lot of space. These houses are rather large, and we're all clustered. So even though we don't have an on-campus dorm, it's very important for us that we still have a campus feel. So like I said, Emerson and Courtney, we all live on the same street. So, you can still visit your friends. You can still, work with other kids that are in your grade. We have a whole subdivision full of houses, that are right next to each other. So it's still a campus feel in a way, but it's not like you're living with 150 students in the same building. So it is much more, like she said, a family environment. My kids have been with me since 9th grade. They're all graduating this year, which is making me very sad, but it's also time to go. So, college is waiting, and it's time to move on and for me to start over. But, we are very close, and that's part of why we do this. And that's part of why I've done it for 5 years. These kids mean a lot to me. The ones that have graduated I'm still close to. They still come to visit. They miss Ross. Going from a house like this to a college dorm is not their ideal situation. It is a bit of a different setup. They are a little spoiled, but, it's all part of growing up. We do teach them to be, like Matt said, to be, responsible. There are chores. There are expectations that we have for cleaning up, maintaining a clean room, a clean kitchen, helping out in the house. Like I said, we are a family. We all work together. So that's very important.
Yeah, awesome. Matt and Laura, maybe you guys could speak a little bit about what Courtney and Anya have alluded to in that sort of family atmosphere that we try to cultivate in the dorms. As well as what it's like to mature in these dorms, given that you're sharing the space with dorm parents. What is it like to interact with dorm parents over dinner, in the kitchen, and to really live in the same house as faculty members?
You want to start, Laura?
Sure. Well, let's see. In my house, there's a bunch of girls. We're always together. We have a really nice house. We're all friends. We all like each other. We love our house parents. It is a very it's a nice community. Like every house has this family feeling type of thing. I can visit other boarding houses over the weekends, and they'll welcome you like you're their family, which is very lovely. On Sundays, like Courtney said, we have our family dinners, which is when we just all come to the common area, and we have dinner together. It's nice, we have roommates, which usually you get along, and if you don't, which usually doesn't happen, but if you don't, you can just always ask your house parent to change your roommates. House parents are always your backup. They're always there for you. They're always trying to help you if you need help, which is also very nice. I don't know, your boarding houses it just becomes your second house.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. What about you, Matt? How do you feel about it?
I totally agree with what Laura already said. So if I could add something, so as a new student, I totally understand that one of the concerns when you come to a new environment is, if I will get along with teachers, students, if I make friends, how it's going to work out and everything. So like Laura said, uh, for me, not maybe for other students, not this way, but for me, it's really like my second family. So Emerson and Kevin Snyder, which is the other house parent of mine, I consider them as my house parents or my second parents. And the other mates that I'm living with, I consider them really as my brothers. So I trust them with everything I have, and we really try to cooperate. Of course, there are always some minor conflicts. Nobody's perfect, and if when you're living 1 year with the same people, there's always something that doesn't fit. But the family kind of tries to resolve everything peacefully and try to help you in any way to resolve your or others' issue. So yeah, I totally agree on that with Laura. I think what Anya and Courtney wanted to say later is that the residential life is always trying to mix up people with like in different age categories plus different nationalities. So you really like how do you say it? Like you find out more about different cultures. You get along to help people that maybe are not as well, you are not as skilled in English as you are, so you're really helping each other, and it's like a very friendly environment. Like there is like no competition or something, and since you're with these people not 24/7, but you're spending time with them all the time right after you wake up and then after school. Yeah, it's really like your second family, and everybody's trying to help you. Plus, if you're a new student, I was saying we had a meeting at 8 a.m. and I was telling the same thing to the other students. So when I first came to Ross, I was nervous a lot as well, but Anya put me in a house where other students were already experienced, and they knew that I was a new guy, so they really happy to show me this. Okay, we have laundry days, we have chores, so you can do this at this time, and we all need to help each other. So I really felt welcome. Anytime I had an issue, I either went to Emerson this year, or if Emerson was away or Kevin was away, I talked directly with Anja Abney, Courtney, or Carl Brendel, which is the school psychologist. So really, Ross is very welcoming, and it's really a friendly environment. Yeah, I think that's everything I should say about it.
I think what Matt's alluding to with the support system that we try to provide students is something that Anya and Courtney could speak a lot about. There's just multiple layers to this support system, like Matt was saying. When he can't get in touch with me, there's another house parent. If he can't get in touch with that house parent, which first of all, that would be shocking if he couldn't get in touch with either of his house parents. I don't think that would ever happen. But if he can't, then there's always Anya, there's always Courtney. There's always people right within the cluster. So maybe you could speak a little bit about that, Anya, just the support system that we try to provide students, new and returning.
I think one of the things that is different at Ross, and I've done this for over 20 years at this point, worked with international students, we are very individualized. We are not only our curriculum, but also our student support. So everyone on and I call them all my kids because I take care of all of the boarding students. They all have my phone number. They all have my WhatsApp. All the parents do. I don't care what time of the day it is. My phone is always on. So when a kid needs me, I am here. I know where to go for help. Whether it's Carl, the school therapist, whether it's Lisa Gillespie for extra support in a class, whether it's the head of school, it doesn't matter. We're all here for each student individually. We are a smaller boarding school with about 350 students, which is nice. When I came here and I went to university and I looked at a school with 10,000 students, I would have drowned because I'm an introvert. That wouldn't have worked for me. So being in a smaller school where you know where to go, Laura lives in my office after a bad day because I have candy and I have a comfortable couch. So, she
I live in your office after a bad day because you have candy and a comfortable couch. That's where I am too.
Candy is for the children, Emerson. You need to buy your own stuff.
Yeah.
So we're all there for them. That is what we do as a community. That is what faculty does. I have no problem reaching out to a history teacher and saying, hey, my girl is really struggling. You need to either give less assignments or figure something out. Like I stand up for all of my children, no matter what it is. I treat like my own. And I think that is what we do as a community. And that is very important because coming from abroad can be very scary. And if you don't have family locally or close by, like many of you guys don't, and some do, but if you don't, then that can be a very scary place to be. And you need somebody that will fight for you and stand up for you and have your back. And that is, making you feel better about yourself. I don't know, I think Alberto may want to say something if you want to have a parent perspective. So we're going to try this. I'm going to hold the phone up and you guys can tell me if you can hear him.
That would be great. Yeah.
Hold on.
Maybe. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me put the volume of the computer down so that I don't get the back. Un poquito. One minuto.
Can you hear him?
No, maybe you could share what he's saying with us.
Go ahead. Let's try it. Go ahead.
Wait. Good morning to all. My name is Alberto Manopla. Are you able to hear me, all the group?
Yeah, we are, I think. Yeah, good.
Okay. Now, okay, I'm Essie Manopla's father. Essie is currently in 11th grade, or was in 11th grade, whatever, because it's a coronavirus. Now, I'm going to tell you from my point of view why we decided on Ross and why Ross is, in my opinion, the best option. Now, there is no one school that is perfect, that has everything. That does not exist. Now, bueno, one pillar, very important, Anja. Anja is there 25 hours a day, 8 days out of the week. I can vouch for that. No, I'm very serious.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 weeks ago, I had to call her. It was Sunday, 12 noon time, and we were not able to get my son. So we usually speak every day. So I called Anja. What's going on with the guy? He's not answering. I mean, Anja is there. And for parents that live abroad or even in the US, it's important to know that Anja is there really on top of everyone and of everything. Now, Ross is a different type of school. It's a more independent type of school. Kids are, for instance, in the dormitories, they have to make an effort. Let's say that for ABC reason, they don't like one person in particular. Okay, they don't have to love them, but they have to take care of each other, and it's a family. Period. Now, being close to New York, it's a super plus. They take them out, field trip, etc., etc. Not even, I don't want to mention what the trip that they do once a year, like for 2-3 weeks. This April, no, when was it?
Field Academy, no?
Field Academy.
Yeah, the field, yeah. Essie chose to go to Zimbabwe. I mean, I don't know many other schools that give that opportunity. It's once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to reach out for whatever trip you chose. It's irrelevant. But I mean, that's an opportunity that I don't know that any other school gives the kids. I mean, again, independence is the name of the game. We love Ross. The school is magnificent. The food is A1A. The support. Yes, I'll tell you why I'm saying that, because Essie last year was in another school, in another boarding school. The food was no good. So I mean, that is an issue.
Yeah.
Everything that works fine, no one talks about it because it works fine. They only talk about, let's say that the water heater is not working. Okay, we'll fix it. But again, parents, I had the choice to send Essie to any other school. We decided to send him to Ross. We, including Essie, now 12th grade, he's going back to Ross whenever the school reopens, hopefully very, very soon. So that's at the end of the story what's important. Would I send my kid again to Ross? Would Essie go back to Ross? The answer is yes and yes. the end of the story. And I hope that, any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you so much. And I really love what Alberto said about Anya's accessibility. It really, the accessibility of house parents really does start from the top with her and Courtney. Their ability to be present 24 hours a day whenever they're needed trickles down to us. And maybe, Anja, you could speak about the high standards that you hold us to in terms of our availability for parents to call us, for students to get in touch with us, regardless of the time of day or what the topic is.
Yeah, I mean, when I hire house parents, I make it very clear that yes, we all have other jobs at the school. Like Emerson works in admissions, his co-house parent is a cultural history teacher, and that's all great. But to me, when I hire you as a house parent, I don't care what else you do at the school. You're a house parent. That is my number one priority, and you take care of my children. And that's what I care about. Yeah, hey, hold on, Alberto. And so when Alberto was looking for his son at noon on a Sunday, and his house parent Nilda was out at the store getting milk for the house and didn't check his phone, the poor kid was sleeping. And so we had to wake him up, but that was fine. But, I hold my house parents to very, very high standards. When the phone rings at 2 a.m., they better pick it up. If it comes down to you calling me, then they will hear it from me. But I am always available, and they should do the same. Every house parent should have a house contact for every parent, whether that's on WhatsApp, WeChat, or cell phone number, so that they can reach out to parents if they feel like there are, concerns about a student, whether that's disciplinary or emotional or really anything academically. That's what we do. When my kids come home and they look sad, then I know, and I will figure out what's going on. And if I have to reach out to a parent, then I will do that. So that my house parents, my number one job for them is to take care of the kids. And that's from every possible emotional, academical, anything that those kids need, that is what they need to do.
Great, yeah, thank you.
Asked if the students can go out alone.
Yes, so there are some questions in the chat. So first, can students go out alone? That depends on your mom and dad. So there are curfews on the weekend. It is usually 11 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. On Sundays, the curfew is 6 p.m. because it is a school night, and I expect you to, be ready for school on Monday. There are permissions that are being sent to new student parents where they have to give you permission to take an Uber to ride in a day student's car if they're of age and they have their own car, and to whether or not you can go out, into town. But you can. I mean, all of my kids do it. Most kids have permissions to take Ubers. They go into East Hampton or Bridgehampton on a Friday afternoon when classes are over, and they go out for dinner with their friends. It's important though, you always, always, always have to let your house parent know where you are. So if Emerson is on duty and Matt wants to go to East Hampton with his friends for dinner on a Saturday at 7 p.m., he better tell him where he's going. If Matt's not home,
there's gonna be trouble, Matt, if you don't.
And find him, and he calls me, and
I was.
Once I call Matt, Matt knows he's in trouble. So if a house parent can't find you and I have to look for you, you better pick up that phone. And usually my kids do. So it all depends on your parents' permission. Some parents say, no, I don't want to have my child take Ubers. And then unfortunately, you're not going anywhere. But there are weekend trips that we do on Saturdays where we take buses into town if you want to go shopping. So those are school supervised trips, just like Alberta said. We do city trips once a month. Again, usually I reach out to parents. We let the kids walk around in small groups. There are 5 or 6 of us in the city with them, but they don't want me to hold their hand when they're going shopping. So, we all stay on Fifth Avenue, or some people go to Chinatown, or some people, go into Soho, and teachers will be there, but not on top of them because, teenagers don't want to be seen with adults. But if a parent tells me I don't want my child to do that, then you will be holding my hand and you will be walking with me, and we'll do all kinds of fun things together. So it really just depends on the parent. I would say, that's how that works. And then another question. So when I look at assigning houses and what child goes where, returning students get a survey in the spring. Courtney just sent it out to kids coming back. Laura just got it, and she better fill it out soon. And they can tell me who they want to live with, what house they want to live in. Do you want to stay with the same house parent? Do you like pets? Do you hate pets? You know, I have 2 little dogs. My kids love them. But you may not be allergic to cats, you know, so just things that I'm looking for to find out about where you want to go as a returning student. And most kids want to go with their friends and stay with their current house parents. As a new student, I will look at your interview notes. What are you interested in? What are your hobbies? And what grade are you in? So we usually divide you up by grades. We have a middle school house, and then we do 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th. Sometimes, like with Matt, I will put him as a senior with younger kids, 10th and 11th graders, because I want him to sort of mentor younger kids. Laura has some 11th graders in her house. She's in 9th grade. They are returning kids. I want them to mentor her, the younger kids. And so I make it as diverse as I can. Often families request, you know, I want my child to just be with kids from their own country or as many kids from their own country for comfort. I don't always recommend that because part of you coming here is to learn about other cultures. It's the beauty of a boarding school. I don't want you to speak German or Spanish all the time. You know, I may put one other German kid with you. So you do have that extra support because it's nice to speak your own language. And also if English is low for some students, they will need somebody to help them. Whether that's an upperclassman or, you know, a new kid that has really good English, it's good to have. And there are my dogs going crazy.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's great. Maybe Courtney, could you speak a little?
Alberto wants to say something.
Alberto wants to say something. Okay, great.
It's very important. Now that we have, let me lower the volume here. Now that we have everything via computer because the school is closed, whatever AC needs of any teacher, he calls them and immediately he gets a response. He's doing homework. That's why he's not with me right now. But he knows that we are in this conference. So he came 2 seconds and he told me, Papa, whomever I need at whatever time, teacher, whatever, boom, they're always there. That is very important. Availability of everyone in Ross. Mm-hmm. Now, you have not mentioned a good friend of mine, Jason Warwick. A good hello to him. I don't know if the parents have to do anything with him, but anyway, he's a great guy. Ciao.
Just so you guys are aware, Jason is my boss. So we only say good things about Jason in these sessions. Ala has a great question.
Yes.
How far is the farthest house?
Okay, so most of our houses are clustered, like I said earlier. So we have houses in East Hampton, which is closest to school, and we have houses in Sag Harbor, which are a little bit further away, but they're right by the water, so it's kind of a nice area. I would say we go by school buses, and it could take anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes by school bus. There's usually not that much traffic in the morning. Buses will usually leave the houses if you want to go over like a daily schedule, for example. You know, buses in the morning leave from anywhere from 6:55 to 7. As a house parent, depending on who your children are, sometimes you have to wake them up. My kids wake up on their own. I give them a 10-minute warning. Everybody walk out to the bus. The buses bring them to school by probably 7:15. That's when breakfast starts. And then classes start at 8. And you have classes all the way until 3:45. Those are all your classes, core classes and electives with a lunch break in between. And then you will have sports if you signed up for sports, whether that's basketball, you know, track and field, cheerleading, whatever sport you signed up for that happens after classes. And then we have dinner at school. It starts at 4:45 and we leave home at 6. We get home about 6:15, 6:20. And then, you know, we give kids a chance to shower, change. Boys will eat again because that's what boys do. And then we do an hour and a half of study hall where you do your homework. Now, study hall depends on each house and each group of students, you know, individually. Like Courtney had a house full of new students, same school that Alberto's son came from, that closed in the city. They were all 11th and 12th graders. They can study on their own. All my girls are seniors. They can study on their own. We all as house parents check the grades. We check the homework. We talk to the teachers. If one of my girls falls behind, then she will sit with me. But anybody, I would say from middle school, 9th and 10th grade, we do supervised study hall as a house at the dining room table. No chatting boyfriends, girlfriends, no watching movies. You're doing schoolwork for an hour and a half or however long it takes with the support of a house parent, which, you know, most likely will be a teacher. A lot of faculty of our faculty are house parents. And then, you know, we do chores. So again, I expect people to take out the trash. You know, we do get the houses cleaned once a week by our cleaning staff. So but I don't want it to fall down to the wayside where by that day when your cleaning staff comes, it's so destroyed, you know, that they have to work an extra day. So I still expect you guys to pick up your clothes, you know, take out your trash if it's full. My girls like to pick, you know, the Amazon boxes pile up against the wall. And I'm like, really? You take them right outside. So, you know, we keep an eye on that. So we do expect you guys to cook, you know, if you're cooking, which is fine, kitchen is usually open until 9. And as long as there's an adult with you, you can cook, but then you need to clean up after yourself, you know, at least put the stuff in the dishwasher. And then whoever is on dishwashing duty unloads it. You also have to do your own laundry. We do have obviously laundry rooms in the houses. So everybody gets a day where you do your own laundry, and, you know, sheets are always a problem with the boys. They don't like to wash their own sheets. So sometimes I say, you know, maybe every Sunday should be like a day where we all wash our sheets, because usually mom does that. So, you know, people forget about that very quickly. But so we do teach them to be responsible, and we want you guys to be responsible and learn, because when you go off to university and you live away from home, if you're in college or wherever you want to go, you know, you have to do those things as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah. And to that point about sort of learning to be a little more mature and responsible, Matt, maybe you could speak to it, just with regards to, again, the fact that you're really sharing a living space with your dorm parents and their faculty. And so, I mean, what is it like if I mean, I'm saying this because I know the answer from you. Like, if you leave a dirty yogurt cup on the counter, you can't get away with that. I mean, there's no way you can get away with things like that, because we hold you guys to high standards, given that, like, we wouldn't leave that there, right?
Yeah, so I think I can connect that with a question. Yeah, I'll ask also, and I'm sorry, I probably have missed it, but how many people might live in one room? I think the minimum is 2, right? 2, and maximum is, I think in our house, maximum was 4.
Yeah, but we moved one out, so it's 3.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and back to Emerson's question. So, like I said, I moved to the US mainly to become more independent and responsible. Yeah, I think a lot of things that they have been already mentioned. Yeah, exactly. If you're on chores, you really have to do chores. If it's your laundry day, you don't really have to do laundry. It doesn't mean that. Because every year when the school year begins, basically the first thing the house does is like a small house meeting, when they, you know, say, okay, these 2 people will have laundry day these days and they will do chores these days. So there's like no conflict. And yeah, if you don't want to do your laundry day during your day, you can do it also in other days, but you have to ask the people that have laundry day in that day. So it's really like, yeah, it helped me really a lot, because it helps to the communication, which is key at this point. Yeah, so you communicate with your whole house, and yeah, every action has consequences. So like Emerson said, you leave something in the kitchen, if it's unwashed, or you didn't put it in the washer, or you had a chore that day and you didn't unload the dishwasher. Yeah, definitely nothing serious. Like the few first moments when you do it, you will get away with it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I will do it later. But if you keep doing it more and more, yeah, there will be like more serious consequences, like detention or
making
something.
Matt sleep outside, things like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Also, before, if the kitchens aren't cleaned up and I walk in for house inspections and it looks like a bomb went off, then I will close the kitchen for the entire house for a couple of days. And then I get, you know, the text messages of, I can't just eat cereal at night. I need to actually make myself something. Well, then you should also clean up after yourself. So.
But again, I think that's the positive side of it, because like Anja said, you're not going to live with your parents or anybody else throughout your entire life. So these sort of things, I was very thankful for that, because it prepares me for the future. And then, you know, when you go to college and you're going to live in the campus alone, or you're not going to live in the campus and you're going to loan a flat and you're going to live there with other housemates or alone, you know, your mama is not there anymore. So you got to do all these stuff on your own. And these little things actually get you ready so much. So I think that is great. I except for the, you know, the education system and the the diversity among the students, and the welcoming spirit of the teachers and everything. This is something that I was very thankful to Ross, even if it doesn't look like a big deal for me. It really helped me a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the questions was, are some houses better than
Yeah.
others, which I love because there's so many to choose from. I will say that a lot of our houses, and this is very common in the Hamptons, the way that they are clustered, they are owned by the same people, which is, it's a business out here. So that's interesting. So anything on the west side is pretty much kind of the same, but different than the east side. So Emerson, Courtney, and I live in East Hampton. Which the houses are large, but there isn't as much outdoor space. Like we don't have the basketball courts, but we have a big swimming pool. But we don't have the volleyball courts. On the Sag Harbor side, which is where Laura lives, there are 5 houses that are identical to each other, with the basketball courts, the tennis courts, the volleyball courts. So it's just, they all sort of have the same thing. They're double bedrooms with their own bathroom attached, which is nice. But they're just a little bit different when it comes to the outdoor space. So some kids like to live in the East Hampton side because it's closer to East Hampton. Some people like Sag Harbor better. So it just depends on, what it is that you love. And that's when I look at your interview notes. If you're a tennis player, then I'll probably put you on the west side because there are tennis courts for you to use. If you're more of a shopper, then I'll probably put you on the east side because that's what you do in East Hampton. You can go into town and, spend a lot of money. So I tried to gauge it that way. And like I said, then the second year, I will give students the choice. Do you want to live on the Sag Harbor side or, the East Hampton side? What are you more comfortable with? And then if during the year you really just hate one or the other, then we can always talk about switching houses. I don't like to switch houses lightly because I do think, as Alberto said, sometimes you just have to work through things. And it's not that there's anything between children that they hate so much. It's more like a brotherly sister dislike sometimes. That girl rubs me the wrong way, but she's not like a mean person. But sometimes I just want students to try to work through things. If it isn't anything, crazy that has happened, then we usually are able to work things out. But, I always work with kids and I work with parents if it just is the situation where people are super uncomfortable.
Right. Cool. Do we have any questions from you guys at all? Does anyone have a question for any of our students or Anja or Courtney or Alberto? Cool. Yeah, sure, Ala. What's up?
Emerson, I might ask you, what is it like for you to be a house parent?
Yeah, no, I hate it. I really I can't stand it. No, house parenting has been absolutely one of my most joyful endeavors at Ross. I find it to be incredibly rewarding. It's very challenging sometimes, but it's rewarding in the same way as it pushes the house parents to learn how to be more patient, to be more understanding, to put ourselves in high schoolers' shoes again, to learn how to talk through problems with high schoolers that may not be your sort of everyday problems. I've found it to be really, really rewarding, not just in that way, but also the relationships. Like Matt and the rest of the boys in our house and myself and Kevin on Friday night, instead of going out and doing something on Friday night, we were all going to sit on the computer and Skype each other. So we're going to try and hang out together as a house from across the world. Just because it becomes a very close-knit, supportive group where not only are the boys asking us for advice, but a lot of the times Kevin and myself are pretty out of touch with things, and we may need advice from the boys. They're always there to be very critical, and oftentimes too critical, but it's a really, really fun, friendly environment. I actually went to a boarding school when I was in high school. I went to a boarding school for 3 years, and I have found the boarding situation at Ross, the way it's structured, in the houses with the dorm parents living in the house as opposed to living in apartments at the end of a hall, to be vastly different. and vastly more exciting and rewarding and fulfilling as a house parent. Sure. Although I will say, I get very, very tired of hearing about my boys' girlfriends. I got tired of that during the first week. I didn't need to hear about it any longer.
It's really only Matt.
You can't
Yeah,
mention.
I have dealt with Matt's relationship problems one too many times, and I can't take it any longer. So this is my last day I quit. But yeah, in all seriousness, if you guys have any other questions, we would love to hear them. I know Matt and Laura can speak extensively on what it's like just to be in a new space and be in a new country. And it's they do a great job of it. Do we have any questions, Fabiana? Do we have any questions from parent to parent, or to Anja as a parent? All good? Oh, sorry. Let's see.
You hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
So everything sounds wonderful and trusting, and you are so into this thing. It's I can't wait to make it real, actually.
Good.
Can't wait either. So
The parents, everybody who works there, all the students, they are so convincing. It's really fun to listen to it. And yeah.
Yeah, we try to have fun with it. That's the name of the game, is letting the kids have fun, but also making it fun for us. And the kids do a great job of that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, Anja,
I would maybe
go for it, Matt.
I'm gonna suggest one thing. So maybe it happened to me sometimes when we were doing these conferences before at Ross, that sometimes the parents want to talk directly to the students because they don't want to share it like in a, maybe like they want to do it more privately. So if you want, I don't know about Laura, but you can definitely forward my contact to the families that you've talked to, and they can talk to us.
Yeah. Well, Matt, if you're comfortable with that, why don't you put your email in the chat?
Sure.
And Anja's email is readily available.
For Res Life, for me, if there's anything, and I put my email in here too, if you have anything that, related to housing that you are worried about or that you need, just email me, and Courtney and I will look at all those things when we get together and, try to figure out this big jigsaw puzzle that is our housing situation. And so that I can make sure I make everybody as happy as I can. Laura, fill out the form.
Yes.
And we've got Alberto's WhatsApp and his email as well, if you guys want the parent perspective too. Great. Thank you, Alberto.
It's very important to have others in the community, Ross, like the contacts, because it'll get to a point where you'll wonder if, like, the smallest things, like if you need this or that, and you have people to answer those questions, even if you think they're stupid. I had them when I was going in, and I thought they were the stupidest questions. But then, I had Anja's info, and I had my house parent info already. It helps a lot because they're not stupid. They're very important questions. Trust me.
All questions are important. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Does anyone have any final questions? Otherwise, I just want to thank all you guys for coming, and thank you guys for your questions, and a special thank you to Alberto, Matt, Laura, Courtney, and Anja. Thank you guys for making time out of your busy days and coming to this session. And again, if you guys have any questions, please, they're awesome resources. So you could reach out to them directly. If you want to send the question through me to ask them, you certainly can do that as well. Otherwise, again, thank you guys so much. And just one final note, we record these sessions, but if you would like your image not to be used, please just shoot me an email. I understand Matt probably has bedhead right now, so I'll probably have to block out his image.
It's like hours to do my hair like
Put me in the center.
oh.
Put me in the center.
Yeah, you're very handsome, Matt. Trust me, you're very handsome. But if you would like your image blocked out, then please just shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat, and we will happily oblige that. Thank you, Alberto. Perfect. Otherwise, we're really excited to see all you guys in the fall when we're on campus again. We're just, I think I can speak for all of us here at Ross. That's really all we can think about is just how excited we are to get back to campus, get the students back in the dorms. We miss it, and we're excited for you guys all to be a part of it. So Anja, if you have any final words?
No, we're looking forward to seeing all of you. If you have any questions, whether it's about your visa or anything related to your housing, do let me and Courtney know. We're here at home all the time. Super boring. So, the more contact I have with kids, the better. I think my kids are annoyed with me right now because I constantly chat them. But, we're here. We're here to help. That's what we do. So we're looking forward to meeting everybody, hopefully sooner rather than later. And stay safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And we'll be in touch and see you guys all in the fall. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you out there.
Bye-bye.